Hey guys, this is Francina Simone with Writing Tips to Improve Your Writing. This is the first video in the How to Write Romance series. Today's topic is writing a strong love interest. A strong love interest can really make or break your romance. Here are some basic steps on writing one or multiple love interests. And yes, I did say multiple. Shitty love triangles suck, but if you do it right, this shit can be amazeballs. Step 1. Make sure your love interest has his own goals and his own life. The love interest needs to be a well-rounded character. Nobody wants to read about someone who is obsessed and only thinks about the main character. It sounds like a fantasy that's being played out, that someone only ever thinks about you. Their life goal is to be with you, to wrap their arms around you, and to squeeze you until you stop breathing. So the best way to make a strong love interest is to make sure that he or she has their own goals in their own life, that they play an integral part of the plot that doesn't have to do anything with romance. Step 2. Don't focus on the physical. It's extremely shallow to constantly mention the physical attributes of a character. If the only way you can describe your character is through physical attributes, such as their eyes and abs, then you really need to revert back to step 1 and work on making them a well-rounded character. Think about the first time you fell in love, whether it was with a person or a stuffed animal you keep tucked away for lonely nights. You fell in love with their essence, not their physical descriptions. Maybe you liked them because of the way that they physically looked, and you lusted after them. But after you got to know them, you thought of them as their essence, not their physical self. And if you still only think about their physical self, my friend, you might not be in love. Or you're just extremely shallow. Step 3. No Insta-Love. Insta-Love is not love, it's lust. Unless the dude's gonna kidnap her, drag her down into his basement and cut off locks of her hair, it's not love. It's sociopathic. And don't think just because you're writing in YA that it's okay to write Insta-Love. Not all teens fall instantly in love with each other, and you're forgetting one main fact. Teens generally spend a lot more time with each other than they do at home with their parents or anywhere else, because they're in school for like the longest fucking hours of the day. So it's not instantaneously that they're in love. Even though it's only been a week, how many hours have they spent with that person, stalking them, observing them from a distance, or up close? Insta-love is never okay. It's cheap and it's shallow. At the end of the day, you're robbing your readers of a good love story. Step 4. Have your characters interact with each other outside of cheesy rom-com lines. The characters need to interact with each other outside of the romance plot. Otherwise, all that character is good for is making your character feel good about themselves. If they aren't essential to the overall plot, then they really have no room in your story. If they're having meaningful reactions that are tied to the plot, chances are the dialogue is going to be that much more real as well, because it's not centered around cheesy lines or flirtatious lines. There's nothing wrong with them flirting, however, you have to develop a relationship with them in some meaningful way. The best love stories develop when people are brought together for some other means besides simply being in love with each other. And also, how much can you write with just two people who are constantly in love and only ever talking to each other about love or constantly flirting? It means your whole book is going to be filled with flirting, snarky, or witty comments, and not much else. So these 4 steps can really help you make a strong love interest. Just remember to 1. Write well-rounded characters who have their own goals in their own life, especially outside of your main protagonist. Step 2. Don't focus on the physical. Focus on the essence of that person and why your character is in love with their essence and not their blue eyes. Step 3. Don't write an Insta-Love. Just don't. I'm serious, don't. Just step away from it. And step 4, have the characters interact with each other outside of the romance and in meaningful ways. If you have any questions or suggestions on which video I should do next, send me a tweet at Francina Simone or leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe.